All right, so get this. Imagine, like, you're grabbing a coffee,
Hmm.
right? But that coffee could actually help fund the next big music video.
Wild, right.
Totally. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, this whole Wired Cafe thing.
Yeah, we've got articles, pitches, even some hand-drawn diagrams laying it all out. It's a lot.
It really is. It's like, what would happen if Hard Rock Cafe, a film studio, and like a blockchain collective all had a baby?
And that baby was really into music videos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But how does this whole thing actually work? That's what we're going to unpack. Okay, so first things first, what exactly is Wired Cafe? I mean, from what I'm seeing, it's not just one thing. It's like a whole vibe.
Yeah, like a whole ecosystem.
Right. We're talking actual physical cafes.
Think like buzzing recording studios, people collaborating, open to anyone to just wander in.
So cool. But then there's this whole other digital side, too.
Yeah, this platform connecting artists, musicians, filmmakers, designers, everyone.
But their first big play, music videos.
Which is smart. Music videos are having a real moment, but for creators, getting the funding together, it's a nightmare.
For real?
Wired Cafe wants to change that, and not just by throwing money at the problem, it's about shifting power back to the artists. Less reliance on labels, more control over their own work.
Which is huge. But how does that actually play out in real life? What makes Wired Cafe different from just, like, hiring a film crew the old-fashioned way?
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this whole model is actually supposed to work.
Okay, so let's say I'm a musician, right? I've got this killer track. I've got the whole music video playing in my head. I'm ready to go. So I hit up Wired Cafe's platform, and then what?
Well, you're not just looking for, like, a crew to hire. You're looking for partners in crime, basically. Wired Cafe is all about connecting you with filmmakers, designers, dancers, anybody you need to bring your vision to life.
Okay, that makes sense, but here's the thing.
And here's the real kicker. No massive upfront costs.
Yeah, see, that's what always gets me. Because high-quality production, that stuff's not cheap. So how does that even work? Someone's got to be footing the bill.
Right, and this is where those hand-drawn diagrams you were talking about come in.
Oh, okay.
Remember those? They actually lay out this whole system using something called a wyrd token.
Okay.
So fans can buy these tokens to support projects early on. It's kind of like crowdfunding, but instead of just getting like a t-shirt or whatever, they actually get a piece of the ownership.
Because then the music video itself gets turned into an NFT.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. See, this is where I think even people who like love music and are into this new stuff, they kind of get tripped up, right? Because I get owning a vinyl, right? A physical thing, it's right there. But a digital file, how does that work?
It's not really about owning the file itself. It's about the rights that are attached to it, right? Imagine it like this NFT is kind of like owning a share of a company.
Oh, interesting.
So like if this music video blows up online, generates tons of revenue from views, sponsorships, whatever it might be, all those earnings, they get split up amongst everyone holding those NFTs.
Including the artists.
Especially the artists.
Wow. So it's almost like fans become like mini investors in the music they love. That's a really cool concept.
It is really cool.
But, I mean, there's got to be a catch, right? Nothing's ever perfect.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are always challenges when you have a new model like this, right? I think one of the biggest hurdles is, like, is the average music fan even going to want to mess with NFTs?
Right.
There's still a lot of confusion around how they work.
Yeah. You need like a special crypto wallet and all this.
Exactly. And some people are still a bit hesitant about the whole blockchain thing in general.
Right. It can feel kind of like the Wild West out there sometimes.
Yeah. And then there's the question of, what happens if this thing actually works?
Right.
What if Wired Cafe just becomes this massive company?
Right.
Because if they're the platform and the funder and the distributor, doesn't that give them a lot of power?
It does kind of feel like all the eggs are in one basket. Okay, so we've talked about, like, the big picture, right? But what about the actual nuts and bolts, the tech behind it all?
Yeah, this is where those diagrams get kind of wild.
Totally. We're talking tokenization, smart contracts. There's a lot to unpack here.
It does seem like a lot, but the idea at its core is pretty simple, really.
Okay, I like simple.
Basically, Wired Cafe wants to create a more direct link between artists and fans, and they're using blockchain to do it.
Right.
Think of it like, well, each Wired token, it's like this little piece of ownership in this whole new creative world,
Okay, so let's say I'm a fan, right? I buy some Wired tokens, and then what? Like, do I get to vote on the next music video concept or something? Do I get to be like, more cowbell?
Well, you're not exactly going to be calling the shots, but your support, it translates to actual influence.
Oh, okay, how so?
Like you could use your tokens to directly support an artist, right? Maybe
Right.
buy their music or merch through the platform, stuff like that. And remember those NFTs we were talking
Yeah.
about? Fans could actually use wired tokens to grab a piece of a music video they love. And if that video takes off, they share in its success.
So it's all about creating this system where everyone, the artist and the fan, is really invested in the final product. I dig it. But there's one thing. All those transactions, all that back and forth on the blockchain, doesn't that usually mean fees?
Ah, great question. And Wired Cafe actually addresses this head on. They're planning to use a proof of stake blockchain, which basically means it's way more energy efficient and has lower transaction fees compared to those older systems.
So less about those crazy gas fees you hear about.
Exactly. It's more about keeping things sustainable.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But even if the tech is all there, right, the human element,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's still a gamble. Will enough artists actually buy into this new way of doing things, and fans too?
I think that is the million-dollar question, right? Will it work? I think Weird Cafe is betting on the fact that deep down, both artists and fans, they're kind of over the old way.
Yeah,
They're hungry for something different, something more equitable, more transparent.
for sure.
Whether they can actually navigate all the hurdles, bring this whole thing to life. That's something we're going to have to see.
It's a bold experiment, that's for sure. And it's going to be super interesting to watch it all unfold. Who knows, maybe sipping your latte while watching the next big music video being filmed, maybe that's the new normal. But for now, we want to hear from you. What really stuck with you in this deep dive? Head over to our socials and let us know your thoughts on Wired Cafe. Is this the future of music or just a cool concept? Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.